Sarimá Gracia was born in Puerto Rico. She has a partner, Andrés Fernandez, who was born in Colombia. Together they were able to figure out any question about branding, design, production, and the market. So they decided that instead of solving problems for others, maybe it was better to solve problems for themselves and charge for it.
Me and my business partner, Andres, we worked together in the advertising world for many, many years, and we've been lucky enough that almost 100% of our business has been through referrals. Every time that somebody had a question or needed help with something, they would always say, just ask A+S.
That's how A+S Ideas, a marketing consultant company, was born. Today we talk to Sarimá Gracia and she tells us cómo lo hizo.
Éxito.
Success.
Hábitos.
Habits.
¿Cómo lo hizo?
How do they make it?
Descubra las costumbres y secretos de los triunfadores.
Discover the habits and the secrets of those who have succeeded.
Sarimá, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros en Cómo lo hizo. And that's the only thing that basically when I say in Spanish and then we just jump into English. Is that right? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for giving us some of your valuable time. And, we do this podcast in English, despite the fact that sometimes we can speak Spanish. So feel free to jump back and forth however you feel better, okay?
Perfect. So Spanglish, that's literally my number one language.
Awesome. I'm trying my best to speak my best English. To me it's very difficult. But, my producer, who happens to be my wife, told me, you got to do it in English. So how can I say no to a person that is twice my boss? So,
twice your boss.
Yeah, as a wife and as a producer, I just have to say, yes, sir, and move on. So, Sarimá, you have an advertising agency or a marketing agency. Why don't you describe what you have at this point as your own business?
Well, I have an advertising agency. The name of it is called A+S Ideas Studio. I founded it almost 9 years ago, and it was me and my business partner, Andres, and it's called A+S because we worked together in the advertising world for many, many years, and we worked together as what we call in Spanish a dupla. And every time that somebody had a question or needed help with something, they would always say, just ask A+S. So when I decided to go on my own and name it, since he came with me as a partner, we just kind of kept the name as that since we already had the recognition from most of the people that we've worked with in the past.
So you were working from 9 to 5 for someone else? And
I've been working since I'm 13 years old. I've always been a worker, but I started in advertising right out of college. I was hired by Saatchi & Saatchi, which is one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world, and actually was my dream job, so I got very lucky there. And I worked with them for almost 8 years, part of that 5 years in Los Angeles. And then I moved to Miami and worked for a different agency, which is called Subi Advertising here in Miami, and I worked with them for another 8 years. And yeah, it became to the point that my life literally was like the movie Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, and I was always in meetings and barely had a life. Won a lot of awards, did amazing work, made a lot of connections and things like that, but it got to the point that I wanted to do it on my own and be able to kind of set what I really wanted to do and go after this dream that I had, which is now A+S.
Now, were you afraid of jumping out from the 9 to 5, a formal work, a real job, making, save money? Yeah. What did it go through your mind?
Yeah, so I was thinking about it for a while. I was able to save some money. I'm a big planner. I tend to plan a lot. So I kind of just started, just planning away, doing my research, kind of getting all my ducks in a row. And but it was very scary. It is a comfortable thing when you know already what you're going to get, right? Like I already knew how to do my job. I did it well. And there is a comfort that comes with that. But when you have something that is pulling you, like it was pulling me, you kind of have to just roll up your sleeves and do it. Take the plunge. I'm very happy that I did.
So what happened the first day that you were by yourself? You didn't have to go to work. So how was it?
Well, so the way that I did it was because I made so many contacts and always did a lot of freelance work and things like that. I never really stopped working. So what happened was I was able to, get a job, a project that was going to be able to get me paid for a year. So I was able to win this award, like this project where I was like, okay, so I for a year, I got work that I can do for me and like my business partner. So we decided, let's take it and then we'll continue from there. And that's what we did. So it was helpful to start with coming in, having already a client established.
So that's very interesting. So you actually built a bridge, a transition path. So you didn't just jump into the drive, but you said, okay, I have a plan. That's wonderful because many people, many listeners are probably thinking, man, I hate my job. I have this big idea. And how am I going to transition from 9 to 5 into entrepreneur? What's your advice in that area?
So I would say this. 9 to 5 is an easy job. If you can work from 9 to 5 and not have to like worry about anything else, that's, I put quote unquote easy, right? Like, I think that once you become an entrepreneur, you're working 24/7, right? Your business is always on your mind. You're always trying to find better ways to do things or fix something or, improve on something. So I think what's important is, the idea that you have to stop something before you can start the other one, that needs to go bye-bye. Like, the reality is, I would not suggest to anybody to just drop what they're doing to then go do something else. I think that they should, like I said, either save some money, do their research, kind of prepare themselves to then be able to take that jump. Because if you have other stressors or you don't have all those other things kind of like in place, then you're going to be worrying about things that are not necessarily business related. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Now, let's think about that moment, and then you have the decision. You take the decision to leave your formal job, and then you're going to launch your business. Immediately, the first question is, how do I going to be known? How am I going to market my business? So let's talk about that. What's the most important part of marketing for a concept?
So I would say this. We are a marketing agency, an advertising agency. However, we ourselves don't market ourselves. Why? Because we've been lucky enough that almost 100% of our business has been through referrals. That means, and that's a very important thing, and I tell this to almost every client that walks in through that door, you're only as good as your word and the work that you're putting out there. Like, references are huge. So if you're going to set to do something, whatever the business that you're going to be doing, make sure that what you're promising you're going to deliver and that you have that person's back 100%. Now, having said that, because I do work in advertising and I do help all these different businesses kind of like get all their marketing materials ready, it's also very important to align yourself with the right company and the right fit. You want to be able to go to a company like mine and many others that exist and be able to tell them what is it that you want to do, what is your dream, how do you want to achieve it, be very clear and concise, even bring some examples of your competitors or things that are similar, the things that you like and you don't like, and then try to find a bond. It needs to feel like family because basically they're going to be the ones to help you, give you the voice and the tools for you to be able to market yourself and be known. I think that a big mistake that people are making nowadays is that there's a lot of these places where you can kind of do it yourself. And I think that marketing and that part of the business is something that you should let experts help you with because it's going to be a difference between making it or breaking it.
Interesting. Now, what's the most important part of a brand for you?
Well, for brands, there's so many different ways that you can look at that. However, when you have a very clear voice, like people, you have a clear name, people can tell right away what it is that you're offering and doing. And when you're consistent, that is super important. So just being very clear and very concise. I know a lot of people come in with a ton of different ideas. And what we try to do is like, okay, let's try and narrow it down to like 5 core things, to give you an example. And then once we got those 5 core things, I'm like, okay, then now let's put them in order of importance. And that helps kind of like bring things to the table where you rather be like, okay, this is what I do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and this is how I'm offering it to you, period. Not too crazy, not too much information. Like, let them find that out later on. But at the beginning, like, you just have to be very concise, very clear, one voice. For us, for example, we try to say we are A+S ideas, and we do, simple and good-looking ideas. And we throw in there also the word honest, because that's who we are. We try to be that kind of like person that has your back, that is going to sit down and tell you, we think this works, we don't think this works, but this is how you could do it.
Yeah, I read when I went into your site about honesty, but also it got my attention how much happiness is important for you. You mentioned it so many times. So what about it? Why is so much happiness on your website?
So for me personally, and I got very lucky to be able to have a business partner that shared in that vision. The advertising world, it's an amazing world. You're exposed to so many things and you work in so many amazing brands and things like that. But I had this social aspect that kept tugging at my heart. I'm very involved into fostering of dogs. So there's a lot of times that here in our office, we have dogs running around that I'm fostering for that month. Oh. So clients come and they take a puppy with them if I'm lucky. But also the whole social aspect of things was very important to me. I wanted to work doing amazing design and doing great work, but I also wanted to help people. I wanted to help them realize their dreams. We've been able to work with some amazing people that just came to us with like, hey, I have this idea and it's something that I've always wanted to do, but I have no idea how to make it happen. And we've been able to help them, and now they're doing amazing. That is, to me, like gold. So I get very inspired by people's energy and what they're trying to do. So that's the whole happiness aspect of it. We want to work on projects that make us happy. We want to make people happy. We want to be able to have this collaboration of ideas and great things. And literally, that's what A+S is a place where people come from different places. We have photographers and videographers and web designers and account people and planners, and we just come in and out depending on the project that we have at hand. And it's been a very beautiful thing to happen in the sense of like it's built like this community, and that's just
interesting.
Was my goal from day one, and I'm very happy to be able to be a part of that.
Yeah. Do you remember any mistake that you have made in your life in relation to your business that really helped you to be a better entrepreneur or be more successful in what you are doing at this point?
I've been very lucky. I would not call them mistakes. There's definitely like learnings. We've learned a little bit through the process about, for example, business development, which is what I was trying to allude at in the beginning of your questions. Is that part of like having people that know what they're doing. So, for example, like the same way that I say for a business to not try to take in-house to do their advertising, not necessarily me in advertising, I should take upon myself to do all the business development, right? There are people that can help you with that, or there are people that can have server contacts or things like that. So I would say it's more that, just kind of like tapping into certain resources of people that are experts on a matter and let them do that. And that was a learning for us. So now I try to do that. Like I bring people in and I prefer